Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm tired. I'm really tired. Do you know what? I'm not sleeping well at the moment, which I don't really know why,
Okay.
because I am sleeping well, as in like the quality of my sleep throughout the night is like very high quality, but I'm waking up tired every day. So obviously I've woken up a bit early today and I just feel really tired, even though I got like probably 8.5 hours of sleep last night, so like a solid amount of sleep. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking of investing in like one of those, what's the watch sort of
Oh my
wristband
God.
thing?
Invest in the Aura ring. I'm telling
Aura
you.
ring. Okay.
Yes. I can give you a referral code too, so I'll send that to you.
Is it worth it? Because I feel like this is like an advert at this point, even though we're
Yes.
making no money from this. But I was looking at Whoop, and I'm just not sure about it. I'm just not sure because I've got a watch. I've got a sort of a sports watch that tracks everything at the moment. But I've heard amazing things about Whoop and of course about Aura from you.
Yeah. Personally, first of all, like there are a couple reasons I chose Aura over Whoop. Number one is because I use it for birth control, so I don't think Whoop has that feature where I can link it up to my cycle, but I know Aura Ring does. So that's for me the reason that I chose Aura over Loop. And the second is because I think Whoops are fucking ugly. I think they're
Yeah.
ugly. And honestly, I think, and this is like not an ad, but I think the Aura Ring has revolutionized my health. Like I think it's made such a difference in my health because I think I've had it now for maybe 3 years at this point or something like that. And it's absolutely changed everything about the way I think about health. It was one of the reasons I stopped drinking last year because I realized even if I had one or two drinks, my sleep was shit. The data is interesting. Even now, like I'll wake up and every morning, Monsieur Soixante-Six is like, "Show me the data. I want to see the data on your sleep. I want to see all of it." So it's honestly it's helped me make a lot of changes as far as like masterminding your sleep, like going to bed and waking up tired. I feel like there are a million things to do to make sleep better. It's like such a thing to mastermind, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think an interesting point is that since I got back from actually in Morocco, so on my trip, I started drinking coffee and I love coffee. I love the taste of it, but I've always avoided it because it gives me the jitters. It makes me feel anxious. It has a real negative effect on me.
Yeah.
And I wish I wasn't that person. Like Savita can drink it and she drinks it pretty much every day and she's fine. Like no problems at all. She can sleep. Whereas if I have coffee after 10:30 in the morning, I'm fucked. Like
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
Yeah.
But I've been drinking coffee quite a lot since coming back from Morocco. In Morocco a lot because we had these long days traveling all over. But then since coming back, and I find like during the day, it's the amount of coffee I'm having. I think it's because Savita's making it for me. So maybe I was just making it too strong before. It's like doing me really good. Like it's waking me up. It's making me super alert, focused, which is great because I really lack that generally. But then I think that's probably what's impacting my sleep. Although having said that, the issue would usually be that I can't fall asleep, but I can. I'm having no problem falling. So yeah, it's odd. I'm not drinking alcohol, so there's a whole host of things that I'm looking into.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that like a ring or a whoop or something that actually really gives you insight into your sleep and why you might not be sleeping as well as like other nights.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really interesting to look at that.
The data is super helpful. I love the data. And there are a million reasons why you might be like waking up tired. It could be the fact that like maybe you're on screens like too quickly before bed. And like
Yeah.
maybe you're not giving yourself enough like empty space to just because if we're constantly being bombarded with like screens and with and stimulation and then by the time we go to sleep our mind is racing because we haven't had any space to think about anything all day. We've just been bombarded with random stuff. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's, are you eating too close to bed? Are you like there's just there's a million different things that can help sleep, but the data is super, super helpful. And also you can track like, oh, this night I did this night I did this, and like see what's helping, what's not helping, and do that. But yeah, I'll send you my referral code for Aura if you want to do Aura, and Whoop, I don't know, but listen, you could always get a Whoop, and we could compare contrast. But yeah, I love it. I love my Aura.
Okay, I'll look into it because I forgot. I thought for some reason in my head, I think over the last week I've been researching Whoop and I got it into my head that you had one. But then I remembered it was something slightly different. I remembered everyone talks about Whoop and I hadn't heard about the Aura Ring and you'd been talking about something different. Yeah, that's good to know. I'll do some research.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But interesting to hear. My sleep schedule is also so fucked right now. So fucked. Which is just, I think, a result of hanging out with Mr. Swassonsis because he is such a night out. First of all, it's two things. Number one, I'm working late nights. So I'm working from like mid-afternoon through midnight. And it's like my busy, busy, busy season at work right now. So by the time I like finish work at midnight, I want some time to unwind. I want some time to chill out. And then I'm going to sleep at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and waking up at noon, 1 o'clock. Like this is not my regular schedule. This is not what I like to do typically, but whatever, seasons of life, who cares? So my sleep schedule is also fucked, but I feel like good. It's just, you lose a lot of the day when you miss the entire morning.
Of course, of course. I feel like sleep schedule is obviously really important, but I think it's weirdly less important. Actually, it's not weird. It makes complete sense when you're in the sun and when you're in like a hot climate, because no matter what time you wake up, you're going to be getting that sun the moment you wake up. And I think you're in a good position to have a fucked sleep schedule at the moment. If you were here and you were waking up middle of the afternoon or like late morning every day, you'd feel depressed. Like I in previous years, less so this year, although I've got a busy couple of weeks coming up, I'd be raving throughout the winter. And throughout the winter, it's not day raves, it's night raves. So out till 5, 6 in the morning. So I get home, the sun is still down when I get home, but then I'd wake up at 2, 3 p.m. and the sun is going down. So some days you don't see the sun at all. And it's miserable. That is not a healthy way to live. So at least while you're going through this messed up sleep schedule, look at your surroundings. When we jumped on and I said,
Josh,
look at you. I don't think I want to see it.
Yeah, no, it's true. But the only thing that's a little challenging about it is it's still winter, so the sun is going down early. So by the time I wake up at 1, 2, and then get my shit together and whatever, like I can't really go out and explore because I don't like to be out after dark as like a solo female traveler. So I've been missing seeing the places where I am a little bit more than I normally would have. Like normally, if I'm by myself, I'm waking up, I'm going exploring first thing, and then coming back and getting to things when it gets dark out. But here in the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long I've been with Mr. Swassonsis, it hasn't been like that. So but whatever. I'm just like I'd be okay with accepting like that. I'm at the end of my trip. Like it's okay to take it slower. It's okay to slow down a little.
100%.
Before we get into it, let's spin a wheel. Fun and recreation. What's your go-to fun activity when you're feeling stressed?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think I have a handful that I rotate. Honestly, no, it's a handful that I think I rotate through all the time. Pool time, for sure. Wandering, like wherever I am, for sure. And having a good walk. Really enjoy painting. Really enjoy like music, dancing, bopping around. Honestly, like friend time. Like getting out and just hanging out with friends, whatever that looks like. I think and then I love hobbies and activities, but like things like surfing, snowboarding, and activities like that, you kind of have to go to a place to do that. It's not like a regular thing where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go surf today. I don't live in a place where I could do that. But typically, yeah, it's either walking and wandering, hanging out with friends, painting, or like chilling by the pool, or like dancing and bopping around. But when I'm stressed, my go-to activity is rewriting my to-do list and trying to get my shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
When I'm stressed, I mean, it depends on your definition of fun. I love to go for walks. I'm a big walker, and unfortunately, Savita is not. So usually when I've had a stressful day, she's had a stressful day too. We live together, so it rubs off on each other a little bit. And my advice to her is always, oh, let's go on a walk. Let's go for a 30-minute, 40-minute walk because I love walking. And also because of my personal training plan at the moment, I need to get my steps in. And she hates it. She hates walking. So that kind of takes that away a little bit. But I find that it's such a stress reliever. I love it. Just going out, not touching my phone, not even like playing music or anything. I literally just go out with my thoughts and that's it. This is a real form of meditation. It's really nice. But if you don't define that as fun, like Savita, then I love to party. I love going for it, as you just said, like for a dance. And I find that when I've had a really stressful week, if I've got a rave booked in at the end of that week, it just saves me. Like it's something to look forward to. And then when I'm there, all of your thoughts, all of your everything goes out the window. And I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking about sober raving or a couple of drinks. Just being in an environment where it's so loving because everyone there is generally so nice. It's such a nice environment. The music's good. It's my favorite kind of music to listen to anyway, let alone live and with other people who love the music. Dancing, just letting all your cares and worries go. You don't have to think about anything for those few hours. It's a really nice experience. And I had a really stressful week last week. I've had a couple of stressful weeks, and I finished the week by going last minute to see one of my favorite, like biggest bucket list DJs who I haven't seen before. And my cousin told me the day before that he's doing a 4-hour set on the Saturday, and I was like, holy shit, because she was going, and I was like, oh my God, can I come? And she was like, oh, it's our date night. We were going to do a little date night, just us. And I was like, okay, but I'm coming. You don't have to see us, but I'm coming. I don't care. And it was just the best feeling, like so good. And I think I've got winter, as we've discussed, is a very stressful time for me in general. I'm doing my best. I think I'm doing quite well so far of keeping my spirits high since coming back from Morocco. But I've got raves dotted around just to make sure that I keep that things that I enjoy going. I think that's really important when you're going through the stressful time.
Yeah, completely. Completely. And yeah, it's interesting. I totally agree with you about the walking, like the amount that a good walk would just like, and a good dance will just release a lot of things. And I think that kind of goes back to something we've definitely talked about before, which is movement. Like moving the body releases so much.
Yeah. Honestly, I think part of the reason that I'm doing so well so far, touch wood, with the seasonal depression is because I'm regularly moving my body. After I got back from my trip, it took me a few days to get back into the swing of it. I was just tired, I was sluggish, I was out of the routine. And this happened, if you remember, when I went to Southeast Asia earlier in the year. I'd been probably 2 months, pretty much exactly the same, of consistent working out, eating healthy. I'd lost a lot of weight. And then I went to Southeast Asia and I had 2 weeks off, and actually had 3 weeks off because I then went to Italy afterwards. And it was like I didn't get back into the swing of it, and I put all the weight back on. I never started working out again until September. Whereas this time it took me a couple of days, but I've got back into the swing of it. And I think again part of that is being held accountable by a personal trainer. But I feel great. I'm working out almost every day at the moment. I'm doing some kind of a workout, and it just, even if I'm having a really stressful, horrible day and I go to the gym or I go for a run, I come back feeling so good. I come back feeling so much better, no matter what the weather is. It could be freezing. I could go for a run and just get completely bucketed on with rain, but I still feel great. So there is such importance in moving your body in stressful times.
Okay, great. Honestly, this is great news, because I think about where we were a year ago from now, or I think it was, you were really going through the thick of it in February last year.
Yeah. I think it's very early days. It's November still, and it's right at the start of winter, borderline still fall. So it's early days, and I think January, February are kind of like when it really starts to hit, because it's been 3-4 months of miserable weather and grayness, and it's early days and I can't necessarily comment yet. And I think Christmas is always a fairly upbeat time, and I think it's the post-Christmas blues that usually hits. I've had this amazing week or couple of weeks of family and food and just good, warm, wholesome vibes. And then New Year passes, and suddenly you're like, right, back to work, and nothing to look forward to,
Yeah. I was
and
just gonna say
that's
that.
it. So I think our whole thing about like booking a holiday somewhere warm, I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
I think my difficulty with this is that I'm probably almost certainly going to India for a month and a half in March, which
Yeah.
means it'll probably be quite difficult for me to book a vacation in February, but I'll just do what I can. At least March is not that long and it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
I wonder also because you said you can work remotely, and did you decide to like use all that time in India to work remotely? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
think I have to. So I'll work remotely for a month, which is all I've got allowance wise,
Yeah.
and then I'll book 2 weeks holiday after that. So I'll be there for about a month and a half or so.
Okay. Okay, good to know. I'm gonna be in San Diego for the first portion of the year, but I was about to be like, and we have an Airbnb with like multiple rooms, so we could come hang and work from there. But I know it's yeah,
That'd be
that'd be
so cool.
sick.
I mean, what my thinking was for India was to go to LA and see
Yeah.
Bella, and then obviously spend some time in San Diego as well while I'm there. But yeah, I think I'll see. I'll see. That would be ideal in February, do something like that. But yeah, we'll play it by ear. I'll figure
Yeah,
it out.
we'll figure it out. There was something I had this dream the other night, which is crazy to say out loud, but I was thinking about us and the podcast and everything. And obviously, it's a goal of mine and a dream of mine to get the podcast signed to like a network. And I was thinking about, I was like, oh man, how crazy would it be if I got this podcast or my podcast signed and this podcast signed to a network, and that you could take it, like I would take it full time and you could take it full time or part time, whatever worked for you. And then you could have your own thing if you want, and then we would have ours together. And I'm like, how crazy would it be if we like moved out to fucking San Diego or LA and like that was already there, like crazy. But
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, that would be insane. But whatever. I was like, I had a dream about it the other night, and I was like, damn, it's crazy. It's like the visualization is so real in my head. Like I almost like, see it and feel it, like signing the contract and like getting the call or whatever. Like it's just strange to feel it that strongly. And to see it that strongly,
Well,
yeah.
that's all you need. I read something yesterday actually that said if you have the vision and you feel it strongly enough, the physical aspects of what you need to do and who you need to be in order to get to that place will naturally fall into place.
Yeah,
And that's how manifestation works, right?
literally.
So you're in the right headspace for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like this. There are very few things that I've seen this clearly, and this aspect of my career, I see it so clearly. Like it's really fresh, and I feel like I know everything that needs to happen for it to happen. And I've just like gotten to the space where I'm like, right now in this moment, I don't have the bandwidth to do the things that need to get done. But my goal right now is to like, finish out the year of travel, like really build out the content, build out the portfolio, make it great. And then when I have downtime and time and space, and when I basically have a fucking cast on my face, like going in, cleaning all of it up, building a really gorgeous like portfolio, highlight reel, whatever, and then pitching it. And I'm shooting for one network in particular, but I'm open to others, but I'm shooting for it for one. That would be my dream. And I'm like, but then a part of me feels, and I've never said this out loud before, I think a part of me feels fear around that, because we've had this conversation about the things that I look forward to the most and the things I build out the most in my head and things I get the most excited for not tend to be, but can be the things that let me down the most. And I'm like, I haven't had something this exciting to me in such a long time. And this has been a dream of mine for a really long time. And I'm like, I hope I'm not like overhyping it in my head to only be let down so much. But at the same time, I don't know. There is a fear of that. But
Yeah, do you know what, it's an interesting thing about manifestation for me and visualization that it's human nature, is very natural for these fears and these thoughts to creep into our heads. And so some part of me always wonders, I have these intense visions and something that I really intensely manifest. But then there will be days where I'm like, those thoughts creep into my head. What if I fail? Is this going to work out? And then some days I'll be like, hey, there's just the chances of this working out are so slim. But 99% of the time, I strongly believe in the vision. And I think what scares me a little bit is that those thoughts creeping in, if they're not dealt with, that's what's going to ultimately let you down.
Mm.
So if there is any part of you that thinks there's a limiting belief, which is what it is ultimately, that these things let you down, that it tends to be the things that you look forward to the most that let you down, then that's probably what's going to happen. So you need to deal with that limiting belief at its core. So it's a tricky one. I don't know. I think with manifestation, it's if you believe that failure is not an option, that's when it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
So you have to believe that failure is not an option.
Yeah, I feel like I know with certainty that this thing is going to happen. It's more just once the thing happens, what if it's not what I expected it to be? Like, what if I don't enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to? But at the same time, it's like maybe I just cross the bridge when I get to it. There's no need to worry about that right now. And
Yeah.
honestly, this hasn't really been a limiting belief for that long. Like, I think this has just come up recently, and I think it does play into the shit that I'm going through right now, which we can get into. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something I'm like thinking through right now and feeling into right now.
Which is understandable. I think it's important not to have expectations about these things. You need to live and feel how it's going to feel when you achieve it. Of course, that's really important. But I think it's really important also not to get too into kind of the expectations, because then you have this whole grass is greener mindset. And the grass is never greener, right? Because we have these expectations of how green the grass is going to be, and then we get to the other side and it's wow, it's actually slightly browner than I thought.
Yeah.
Because nothing is completely green and shiny all the time.
Yeah. And I think
So
something we talked about with Kyla too is even if you achieve all your dreams, even if you get everything you wish for, there's still downsides to that. It's more just like choose your hard. Like every path has challenges and difficulties, but it's like choosing that hard. But even if you get everything you want, there's still problems that come with it. There's still challenges and things like that. It's not like life is perfect when you get the thing. You're still going to
no,
feel the same.
exactly. Yeah, you're still going to feel the same, be the same person. You've just achieved it. And I think at that point, it's important that in the build up you've adjusted your expectations, but B, it's all about gratitude, right? There's gratitude to be found in everything. And if you are constantly grateful and thankful for what you have in that moment, it's only going to expand
Yeah.
and feel even better.
Yeah. I think you're completely right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's something to get into. And you said it's linked to what you're going through at the moment. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. Josh, it's been actually, I don't think I have sent you a voice message. I just said big changes, big transformation. Something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, we got into a little bit of some of the stuff you've been going through, but yeah, I'm curious.
The last time we had a chat on the podcast, at least, was I was dealing like literally in the depths of going through so much and just like processing through so much limiting beliefs and trauma from my past. And then obviously I was sending you voice messages about like situations and like going through it and I was still in the depths of it. I like thought I was on the outside and I still was in the depths of it, still in the thick of it, like still going through it. And I was sending you voice messages about it, and especially around stuff with Mr. Swassel sees as he's here and things like that. And in really, really interesting ways. And I think we talked about it a bit in voice messages, but I'll mention it here. In really, really interesting ways, there have been a ridiculous amount, almost like in a poetic way, a ridiculous amount of parallels between situations that have been happening here with Mr. Swassel sees and what's been happening like in my life and in my work and in everything, like parallels between that and things that happen with my ex and things that happen in my past. And it's been in just so many little things, like not just the big things, but in little things too, like just so many parallels. And it's brought so much up for me that I was like, wow, I have the opportunity to relive these things in this like new state after a year of travel, after growing, after learning, after really focusing on myself and being like, bitch, did you actually heal? Did you actually learn? Did you actually grow? And let's put it to the test and see how it went. And it got to the point where it must have been I don't know if it was over the week. I guess it was over the weekend because I was sending you a bunch of voice messages about what I was going through. And I was still in the depths of it. And it got to the point where I was like, with Monsieur Swaswasi specifically, and I don't know how much I'm going to get into it like here on the podcast, but I could send you a voice message about the specifics. It got to a point where I was like, this isn't working. Like, this just isn't working anymore. Like, it's who we were over the summer. It was a different situation. We talked about it last week. We were a different situation. We were different people. Like, both of us, like, not just me, not just him. Like, we were in a different environment. We were different people in that environment, like, at the time. And now we are in a completely new environment, like, under a different set of circumstances. And we're just different people. It's a different situation. And that's okay. And I think I was just trying so hard to fit. First of all, there were these expectations and assumptions about how things were going to go. And I think rightfully so that I had those, because when you only have a frame of reference about somebody in one situation, of course, that's how you're going to think that everything is going to go later on. Like, of course, if I had this incredible summer with this guy, of course I'm going to think, oh, this 3-week trip we have together is going to be amazing, right? We're just going to be the same people. No, it's not the case. But of course, if that's your frame of reference, that's what you're going to think is happening. And I think I went into it with these like kind of assumptions, expectations for how things were going to go. And when they didn't go that way, I felt like sad about it. But there were a lot of triggers that came up from like my past relationship, from shit from my childhood, like a lot of triggers that came up, and almost like my expectations and ideas about how things were going to go strangled the thing. And there were a lot of other aspects that happened in this that kind of not ruined it, but put it through difficulties. It kind of like put a wet towel on top of the situation. And it got to a point over the weekend where I was just like, I felt for the last 2-3 weeks I've been trying to fit a fucking square peg into a round hole, like trying to make it work, trying to whatever. And then I realized that's what I did with my fucking ex. And I was sat there and we went out and we came back and I like went and took a shower and I was thinking about it and I was like, this just isn't working. This is not working. And as soon as I like left the shower, I was like, yo, Monsieur Soislosis, this is not working. And he's what? I'm like, you and me, like romantically, it's just not working. And he's, yeah. And we had a really, really good talk about it. And we went very, very deep about like we were different people over the summer and whatever. And honestly, after I had that conversation with him, Josh, I cannot describe to you the feeling of this overwhelming sense of peace and surrender and such crazy alignment. It felt like everything just like after I said it to him, I was just like, this isn't working anymore. It felt like everything just fucking clicked and I was like, whoa. Like it felt like almost like the spell broke or something, because it felt like a whole full circle moment with the pattern of before with my ex, I was just like trying to fit the fucking square peg into the round hole, where to the point where I was like trying to make it work and it just wasn't working. I was forcing. It just wasn't working. And then to stop and to be like in the state of flow and surrender and to be like, this just isn't working. And that's okay. And like just to come to like crazy radical acceptance and crazy radical gratitude and just like full acceptance about the situation changed everything. And like after that moment, like things have just been like easy again. There's just like weird, like no weird tension. Like we can enjoy each other's company. There's no weird expectations like about spending time together and being present or not being present, and like removing those expectations and removing that like force almost just made everything click so nicely. And since then we've been able to have like conversations about things and just be able to go deep and be able to be there for each other and whatever. And it's just felt it felt like kind of like, okay, full circle moment. You've been dealing with all these patterns and reflections and you've been dealing with so many mirrors of things you went through in the past. Did you actually learn the lesson? I'm like, damn, I think I did, which is crazy to have that all in one moment to just all click at the same time. Was like to just be like, okay, bitch, integrate like now. And then it just happened. And since then, I've been feeling incredible. It's just been feeling really, really good to just be in full. And there have been moments where things have come up, even after this conversation, like still triggers that have come up from, again, like things that happened in my past. And I'll be like, this isn't the same thing. Radical acceptance, like it is okay, whatever, it's fine. Since then, it's just been so good, and it's something I want to take moving forward with me. So things have been great in that way, and it feels, holy shit, okay. I spent the whole year like really working on myself, and I was really faced as a test again with everything I went through before, and I got to experience it in a new way and deal with it in a different way. And it just feels, I feel really, even though this trip wasn't what I was expecting and wasn't what I was hoping for, I feel like it's what I needed instead to like really show the growth or really show the what happened
Yeah.
as far as like my evolution. And it just feels really, really good. And but there's still shit. I feel like it's also grand finale still. Like things at work are insane. But it's also just, I had a meeting with my boss last night and like it went way better than the last one I had, which we talked about on the podcast. And I feel
Okay.
like seen there too. And it's my time to shine at work too, which because it's like my busy, busy season and the team, I'm holding the fort down for the team. It's like my crunch time. And so it's feeling stressful, but like I'm really liking putting in the work. I'm really liking like doing it. I'm really excited to go home and to eat a fat Chipotle burrito and go to Tony Robbins. And my mom said this to me, but I think it's true. This Asia feels like closing out this chapter, and Tony Robbins feels like it's going to be starting the new chapter. But yeah, so that's like everything that's been happening.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You started off by saying about putting everything from this year to the test and seeing have I actually grown. And it sounds like I said this to you the other day in a voice message, but the perfect culmination of everything at the end of the year. It's almost like everything's been thrown at you and literally gone, what have you done, bitch? I think it's proof and evidence of the amazing growth that you've gone through, because there's been so many things that have clicked. It sounds like, in terms of not just setting boundaries, setting expectations within kind of the relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it. Communication as well. A big thing that we've spoken about in recent weeks is communicating with the person directly instead of going to 10 different people before you speak to the person that you're having the issue with. And you've done that and you've set the boundary and you've had that conversation and you feel great for it. And you feel great for the whole setting boundary thing, which is, I think, the ultimate thing here, with regards to communicating your boundaries, communicating what you feel. And yeah, so congratulations on that. I think that's a really huge thing, a really huge milestone, and something that now that you've seen how it's made you feel, that you're going to be able to do that and instantly think, okay, this is how that makes me feel, so I'm going to do that moving forward. So you can take that forward into your future life, which is amazing. So I'm really happy to hear that. With regards to work, I know obviously it's your busy period. But again, it sounds like you've had a conversation with your boss and that's gone well, especially compared to the last one that we spoke about. And it's that time of year, as you say, to really hold everything, the whole team together and show your worth. That is, yeah, it sounds all very positive, all very positive. And I think this year it's been so interesting having the podcast and talking to you almost every week, because it's been such a roller coaster for both of us, but especially for you, because you've had such a crazy 12 months, and so much has changed and so much has happened and then changed again. And so it's just literally been 12 months. You talk about going into the new year with new expectations, and that's exactly what you did. New expectations, new kind of ideas, and it's exactly what you did. And we are now literally ending the year, and you've had just the most insane trajectory over those 12 months. Yeah, I'm really happy to have seen it and to witness it. And I think, again, having the podcast over this last year, which that's another good thing that's happening this week, is that this is our 1 year anniversary of launching the podcast. So go us.
Go us,
And
seriously.
that's really, really cool. I think it's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. Yep. And tomorrow's officially 11 months since I've been in transit and 1 year since we launched the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies. This year has flown by.
Yeah.
Absolutely flown by. But you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. I think for me, it's certainly been a fun year for the most part. It's been a crazy year of growth and of change. And of course, even more so for you. Yeah, I think it's so cool that we've made it to a year, and here's to another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to talk about that more, I think, towards the end. But before we chat about like the 1 year thing, because I have 2 questions regarding that. I want to chat about you. How has it been? You said like it's been crazy. Like, how's everything going?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I don't remember if we spoke about this, but So obviously Savita is leaving in January. She's now officially, as of yesterday, 2 days ago, booked her flight back to India. So right at the start of Jan. So she'll be here for Christmas. She'll be here for New Year, which is great. He sat down on Sunday and had, I'm not going to say a crisis talk, along those lines. And my idea was to do something that I learned, one of the best things I learned at Date with Destiny. I did Date with Destiny way before I should have. I was too young. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with my life, or a lot of the stuff he was talking about. We were doing these exercises and I was like, I have nothing to write because I haven't experienced this. And my relationship vision, for example, I had no idea what I wanted from my relationship when I was 20 years old. I had no idea. And so I think I wrote down these things about who my ideal woman was. And I was like, blonde, blue eyes. And I'm like, this is just what the generic man wants. I didn't know that I wanted that. And of course, it's turned out to, I've ended up with the opposite. So I basically wanted to take that exercise with Savita and actually do that between us. So we write our ideal relationship vision and what that person looks like from a personal perspective and in every aspect, in every scenario, what she wants from me, basically, in every single possible scenario. And then my idea was that I can read over that and really familiarize myself with that and shape into that person. And we did that on Sunday. And, I think everything on my list she has been doing and is basically everything on her list for the most part I'm doing, but not consistently enough and not to a sort of a high enough standard. As I'm taking what she's written, I've got it in my notes app on my phone and I'm reading it semi-frequently, just reminding myself what she wants and what she expects from me. And we've had a really, really beautiful few days. We've really connected, I think, on another level, which I think is so important before she goes away. Because I think we have to have these fond memories of each other and not be left thinking, is it really all worth the long distance for however long it's going to be? So that's something really nice that we've done. But yeah, so Savita is moving in January. So I'll have this room that I'm in right now, which is her room, free. And then while I was in Morocco, my other flatmate served notice on me because he's moving in with his girlfriend. I don't remember if we spoke about that, but it was just like everything coming in at once. And I was like, holy shit, I have to fill these rooms so quickly now. And I can't be making a loss. So I got back and literally the first couple of days I had some viewings. I started advertising it and I have pretty much filled one of the rooms. There's a family friend, like a very good family friend who wants it. She lives around the corner, so she knows the area. She just wants to move out of her family home. So she is hopefully paying the deposit on Friday. And then I was advertising on our sort of room website and I was getting inquiries, doing viewings, speaking to people. And I was like, this just isn't clicking. And I was stressing so much about the other room because I want to make sure I get it right this time, because how things have been over the last 18 months with this flat. It's been difficult. And my old flatmate reached out to me, the one who caused all the problems. And she said to me, I heard the room's going, would you be interested in taking me back? And we had a long conversation and basically discussed boundaries and rules and expectations. And the conclusion was, I think, if it was the absolute last resort, then yes, I probably would. But I kept her on the hook because I wanted a completely fresh start. I wanted to live with new people. And I had this urge, like there was just something telling me, and there's magic in the air right now, and there's just something in my mind pushing me to reactivate my Instagram, because I've been off Instagram for a while, reactivate it and put it on my story, advertise my apartment on my story. And I've done this a couple of times before and I've had no success. But I did it, and within literally a couple of hours, I had a really good friend of mine who lives in Germany who's been planning on moving to the UK pretty much the entire couple of years that I've known him. And he was like, I'm really interested. And suddenly he reached out and I was like, this would be fucking perfect. This would be ideal. Like, borderline best case scenario. He's such a nice guy, so chilled, clean, just he'd keep to himself. And he was like, I'll get back to you in 24 hours. I'm really, really keen. And I'm prepared to move for this. So I had him on the hook. And then suddenly one of Savita's closest friends who lives in London reached out and was like, Josh, this sounds absolutely perfect. Since moving to London, I've been through 5 different apartments because people are just so dirty and disrespectful, and I just can't live with them. And I'm like, this is exactly the kind of thing that I want to be hearing as a fucking borderline OCD neat freak in my apartment. And that's the issue I've had with my 2 flatmates over the last year or so. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the German guy backed out. He was like, I can't rush it, which is fair enough. And Savita's friend paid a deposit yesterday. So that is basically my apartment situation sorted, which is amazing. And it's such a relief. And they'll be living with 2 girls, which will be interesting. But I get on better, generally speaking, with women than men.
It's just your background.
And it's just my background, exactly. I always have. But I think they'll just be more respectful. And I'm not close with either of them. I know them. They're acquaintances more than friends at this point. But I think as a result, they'll be more respectful than the other 2 who I was friends with. So I'm really looking forward to that. And it's just worked out. It's fallen into place perfectly because one of them can move literally the day that Savita is leaving. So that's perfect. And the other one moves at the end of Jan. So it's ideal. It's worked out really beautifully. And that was causing me a lot of stress. And it still is. The other one still hasn't paid a deposit. She's planning on paying on Friday when she gets paid by work. But it's all going to work out. So yeah, those are the 2 main things that I've had in my life over the last week or so. I think I've been feeling, so my personal trainer, I do a weekly check-in with him on his app. And one of the questions he asks is my stress levels. And I think pretty much consistently, it's really interesting actually looking at the numbers going back week on week. And like at the start, I started mid-September, and in mid-September, my score was like really low, like 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And as the weeks go on and as the weather gets worse, you can see it going up and up and up and up. And then until the end of October, until just before I went away, pretty much consistently like a 8, 9 out of 10 for stress levels. And you've seen this as well, of course. But since I've got back from Morocco and while I was in Morocco, the score has been mid-level, I would say, like more of a 5, 6 tops. Is really dropped. And I think I came back with intentions and I struggled to implement those intentions in the first week or so. And I'm not waking up early. I haven't stuck to that or anything, but I feel like I'm doing the right things and I feel like I'm on the right path, in the right headspace. As I said last time we spoke, it feels like there's magic in the air and I'm taking action because of that. Yeah, life feels okay, right? Not okay. Life feels good right now. I noticed this yesterday because I do my check-in every Tuesday. And I did my check-in. I was like, about to put 8 or 9 for stress because work just isn't ticking. But I was like, work isn't ticking, but I don't feel the stress. I don't feel bad right now. So actually, in terms of the stress levels, it is lower. So I think I'm doing the right things at the moment, as we just spoke about in terms of the seasonal depression. I think I'm on the right track. I've started well, and I want to continue how I to go on.
I think it's really interesting. First of all, I'm glad that we found like a tool that helps you manage your stress, especially as like seasonal depression is kicking in, like as far as like movement and working out. We talked about that at the beginning of the episode, but a couple of things. The thing that stuck out to me quickly was the roommate situation, which I'm so glad that everything like seems like it's clicking perfectly. The one thing I will say though is before these people move in, I think sit down by yourself and really think about the past roommates. And I would say almost write down a list of boundaries and expectations. If you want the apartment clean, what does clean mean? Because Josh clean versus other people clean is different. You know what I mean? I'm a clean person, and I didn't know how clean you were until I spent some time in your space. And I was like, oh, wow, like he's actually clean. Some people say that they are, but then they're not. You know what I mean? So it's like I'd sit down and be like, what does clean mean to Josh? What are the rules that you think are common sense that are not, like, that haven't been followed in the past? What are the basic rules and then the boundaries and expectations? And sit down and write all of that. And then I'd also say, because the thing is, you want to build let's learn in the same way that I had to learn from the things of the past, you're having to go through the same thing like a year later too, where it's like, how can you learn from what you didn't do last time, which was you were having all these conversations over text, which like the tone was misconstrued every time. The boundaries and expectations were like not very clear. And you also didn't set like any space for you guys to deal with it together. So I'd say sit down and get really clear about that before they move in. And then I'd say implementing like a once a month roommate meeting / fun time. Have the roommate meeting and then go do something fun after. And implement that initially to build a foundation, because you don't want to make the same mistake that you did last time.
100%. I've already said to both of them, like the first week that they both move, because there'll be a month pretty much between when they both move in. But once they're both in, I want to sit down with both of them and have put an hour aside and say, okay, we're sitting down now to talk about house rules, how we expect to live, what we expect from each other. And we come up with a comprehensive, basically, list of rules that I'll put in the description of our little group chat and say, okay, this is it. This is the standard.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page from the start. Exactly. So that's it. And I know, so one of them, the family friend, she was really worried about who's going to take the other room, because the reason she's moving out is because she's so clean and tidy that she can't bear living with her family because they're so disgusting, apparently. And then the other one, the reason she's moving out from her current place and has moved between 5 different places is because she's so clean and tidy and she can't live with these messy people. So it sounds like on paper, it's the ideal scenario.
Right.
But so yeah, we need to sit down and understand exactly what does clean and tidy mean to each of us.
Yeah.
And make sure that we adhere to those standards. And both of them have made a big point about, listen, if I'm not adhering to your standards, please tell me and I will try and change. The communication is already there compared to the other two, the original two. So it's a good start. And I think one thing I've said that I really lacked with the other two was that social aspect. I got on really well with one of them to start with. Actually, both of them throughout the whole tenancy. Yeah. I got on really well for the most part. But I was very friendly, and I kept saying to them, we should go for drinks sometime, or we should go for dinner sometime, really build that social bond. And it never happened. And we all kind of ended up just living our individual lives within the apartment.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. And every time we see each other, we'd chat for a while. But there was never that social aspect outside of the apartment.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really nice, important thing to have. From the get-go, again, I've said to them, one of the things I want to do is just in the first week, maybe first 2 weeks, go for dinner or go for drinks locally and just build that bond. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
That we all get on really well.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite shows, some of the best sitcoms of all time are centered around roommates, right?
Yeah.
I think about Friends, How I Met Your Mother, New Girl, which is one of my favorites. And it's all about like roommates. And I've always had this vision of, okay, when I have my own place, this is how I want it to be. Yeah. And I had that vision with the last two flatmates, and it just didn't quite work out because I think none of us put enough effort in.
Yeah.
But if I'd pushed and let's book in this date and we're going to do something social on this date, then it would have happened. So I think I need to set that intention from the very start in this instance. Yeah.
Yeah. And make it monthly. Make it like, oh, let's have a monthly roommate like meeting and then hang out, you know what I mean? That way everyone could air their grievances at one time, and then also you guys can make it fun, do something fun, and don't do dinner and drinks, but go do an activity, do something that you guys are trying something together, experiencing something together, because it helps you break out of your shell a little bit more and see people in a different light when you go try something new together, or you go do something interesting. So I think it's a really great opportunity, in the same way for me that like I had to deal with all of these lessons and situations from a year ago. I think you are too. Like I think you are too in a lot of ways, where same with work, with these roommate things, like, okay, you're going to be dealt with the same situations. How did you learn? Did you grow? Did you change? And as far as the Savita stuff, like I think it's tough, and I'm really glad you sat down and had this beautiful talk and communication around expectations and hopes and dreams and visions for what you guys want for your relationship. And I think it's really beautiful that you guys were able to sit down and have that, especially moving into this new chapter of your relationship. What is that going to look like? And it's going to look different. Like, it's not, we have no idea how it's going to go. We have no idea what's going to come from this. And it's either going to make you guys way stronger or break you. And I hope it's the former and not the latter, but you really never know. But I think it's an opportunity to like go into this new chapter with intention and with like a good intention's the only word, really. Yeah. To go in with intention. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're on the right track, I think. I have a very clear vision of what she expects and what she wants. We also wrote down what we expect from a distance and what's really important to maintain from a distance, and also ideas to maintain that connection for date nights and what we can do from a distance from thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So I think going into this, I feel quietly confident about actually this is going to probably fly by, and it's not going to be easy. There are going to be really tough times. And I'm acknowledging that, but just trying to be as positive as possible.
Yeah, I think so. And I have a lot of ideas around this, just generally, but I'm going to go through a couple that are coming to mind really, really quickly. But as far as we talk about this a lot with the love languages, it's difficult, but it is possible to hit all of those love languages as far as from a distance. And especially if you know the ones that are important to her and the ones that are important to you. Like quality time is like having virtual date nights, obviously. And we had this whole experience over Zoom during COVID, right? Where like everyone had to do these interesting things together over Zoom and over like virtually. And like I think we were in the practice of that during COVID. So that's always a thing. If that's like spending quality time together that way, I think as far as like words of affirmation goes, it looks like gorgeous texts and letters, like actually handwritten letters. And it looks like that. It looks like physical touch. I don't know if you've ever seen these bracelets before. During COVID, my ex and I got these, and actually it was so helpful. They're called like bond touch or bond bracelets or something. And essentially they're bracelets, and you tap them and it buzzes and vibrates for the other person's bracelet. So even if it's just like in the middle of the day, and it was super, super helpful during COVID for me because I'm a physical touch person, or is, like I'm thinking about you, but I don't want to send a text right now because I'm in the middle of work or I'm whatever. And it's just like that little physical touch is, hey, I'm thinking about you. Like,
so
I miss you. And it was a game changer. It was so helpful. So that is incredible. Loved those. Loved those. So that's like physical touch. Like that really helps. Those are free. Wait, so quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch. Gifts are easy, literally sending shit to each other. And then acts of service, I think, kind of can be, I think would be the most challenging one. But if you guys are talking regularly and if someone needs something taken off their plate or whatever, like just a way to do that. I don't know. I think that would be the most challenging one. But I don't think acts of service are high up for either of you, right? Or is it high up for her? I can't remember.
Not particularly. One of the things on her list was the active showing of all of the love languages, which I think is really important anyway, because I think she has one or two. Physical touches quite comfortably, probably her number one, and then kind of gifts I think is another one. Physical touch obviously is impossible, borderline impossible from a distance, which is going to be difficult for her, but I can combine the others and make her feel loved in different ways.
Yeah. I'm telling you though, these bracelets, I bet you they have a Black Friday sale going too. I'll have to...
I've just popped it into my to-do list. So I'm going to have a look after this. Yeah.
It was, because I'm a physical touch person, and I'm telling you, during COVID, it was the most amazing thing to just be able to buzz, like just thinking about you. And it really, really helped a lot. So that was really, really helpful. And yeah, like I think there's ways to go about doing it, like making playlists for each other and just like stuff like that. Like you gotta not go old school, but there are ways to keep things fresh and good. Yeah. So I have a couple of thoughts around, if we have time. We have a little bit of time, but I have a couple of thoughts around the fact that it's been like a year of launching the podcast. I have a couple of reflection questions that literally just came to mind. I didn't prepare these at all, but number one, if there's anything you feel like you learned about yourself in a year of launching the podcast. Number two, if there is anything you feel like you've learned about us and our friendship in the year of starting the podcast. And then number 3 is, how the fuck do we want to celebrate this? Because it's a little bit challenging, the fact that we're on different continents, but how the hell do we want to celebrate? So those are my 3 questions, thoughts.
Yeah, I think so. So for me, number one, a little bit of a difficult one that probably needs a bit more thought, because my initial thought is that I've almost more of a negative one, in that I've proven to myself over the last year that I'm a big talker, but not so much of a doer. And I think it's not just a theme about working on the podcast itself and on the social media. It's a theme of what we've spoken about throughout the last year.
Yeah.
I think there's just been a lot of, this is what I'm going to do, this is the headspace I'm in, and then not doing it and not following through. And I recently realized, and we spoke about this recently, it's a scary thing. Actually, it's a really scary thing, because I know that if I keep with the same pattern, what I've been doing, I'm going to keep following the same patterns of life and keep being miserable in what I'm doing. And so that has to shift. So it is unfortunately a negative sort of reflection on myself over the last year, but that's where my mind initially jumps to. On us, on our friendship, I think we've proven that we are incredibly adaptable. We've gone through the year, and we started off with a large backlog of episodes that we were able to plow through. And then things got a little bit difficult over the course of a month or two, and we've lost a lot of that backlog. And it's been up and down, but we're still ahead of schedule, and we are still, or at least on schedule. And I think that's a really cool thing, that we've been pretty much consistently for 12 months now being able to record pretty much every week. And if not, it'd be like 2 weeks. I think the most we've gone,
the longest was a month.
Yeah.
That we didn't speak, but
exactly. But I think we've averaged probably about a week, 1 chat a week, and I think that's a really cool thing, because we've filled it in with 2-3 chats in a week sometimes, and I think that's a really cool thing as well. And we've shown how adaptable, but also I think how strong our friendship is, because again, there's been times where I think you've questioned maybe my commitment to the friendship or to the podcast, and we've got through that for the most part. And I think it's a really cool thing that we've been able to do. I think that the resilience that we've shown, and also the fact that we've had an hour's worth of stuff to talk about pretty much every week. We're friends. I think that's something as well. Yeah, those are my 2 reflections, I think. And then in terms of what we can do to celebrate, I'm not the best at celebrating. And interestingly, this is something that Savita put on her list, is celebrate everything, which I think is really nice. And I was like, Sasha is going to love that. Sasha is going to just, that's exactly what she wants to hear. I don't know. Any ideas?
As far as celebration goes, I don't know. Because I'm like, if we were together, I feel like it'd be so easy to just be like, let's go and do something fun. Let's go for a rave. Let's go for dinner. Let's go for drinks or something. But the fact that we're on different continents makes it so much harder. I don't know what we should do. Maybe it looks like, I don't know, low-key, I just want to send you and Savita on a fucking date night and just plan the whole thing.
A date night, I think that's a really sweet idea, but that's not us celebrating.
I know, but
right?
I want to send you on something. Like, I almost want to send you on an adventure. But I would include a Savita in that, because, like, why not?
We can have a little brainstorm. I think it looks like a little celebratory episode, and obviously this is the 1 year now, but I think maybe the next time we record, we put our heads together over the next week, and we think about, this is what we can do to commemorate it.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a nice idea. We are also doing a little marathon of recordings over the course of 4 days next week, or the end of this week. So that's exciting. And speaking of backlog, that'll get our backlog back up.
Thank God. Yeah. So it'll be literally a marathon next week. And maybe the next time we record one-on-one, like, maybe that's just the homework for next week, is figure out how we want to celebrate. And I don't know if there's creative ideas. But what I'm going to fucking do is I'm going to put that shit in AI, and I'm going to be like, what can we do to celebrate? So I don't know. I think, because it's an interesting one as far as this goes. But as far as like the other questions too, I think, and it's interesting because it's interesting to record every week, and for you to be like, oh yeah, this is my pattern. I was thinking the same thing. If I'm like, okay, if there's one thing I've learned about you in the last year. This is like a huge glaring pattern that I think we've been masterminding through for a year, and it's still showing up, and it's okay, how do we break this pattern for you, and how do we mastermind through that? That's like the thing I've learned about you, which I guess is another question, like what we learned about the other person, which is what I learned about you. But as far as like myself, I think it's very much so how, honestly, number one is the fact that like we speak, it's just more, I don't know if it's more about us or me or whatever, but it's like we speak so much into existence. Like I'll go back and listen to episodes that I'll publish, and it's interesting because when the episodes are published, we're typically going through something very similar but in a different way, or we'll speak something into existence or something like that, which I find really interesting. And then also like how grounding of a practice this has been, especially in the last year or so, because everything in my life has changed. Locations, people, my life, just like everything has been changing. But this practice of recording with you we've been recording for a year and a half, but we've been like the podcast launched a year ago, and it's just like how grounding it's been for me to have that hour to chat with you every week has been really important for me. And I was talking to my therapist about it, and just being like, even if we didn't press record, we would still be chatting once a week. I don't know if we would chat for an hour like this, we'd be doing it over voice message, but it's been like incredible. I would do it for free either way, because it's such a grounding practice for me to talk with you about this and reflect about my life and hear about yours, and to mastermind through things, and how important that is to me, and how much I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I think also, I don't know if I ever questioned your commitment to the friendship. I've never questioned your commitment to the friendship. I have questioned the commitment to the podcast, but I think for me also that's like, it brought up trauma from my past, because I have started a business with a very close friend before, and I was the one that put in more work and more effort and more energy, and for me to reface that again, and to think about, okay, like even if like the time and energy is not even right at this moment, am I okay with that? And like in the last situation, I wasn't, and it needed to cut things off. But with this, I know it's seasons of life, and I know I'm hoping eventually like the workload and the energy and effort going into this will even out, especially as you're on this action cycle, I'm hoping. But it's also just like me being okay and coming to full radical acceptance as, even if it doesn't, I just love doing this so much that it matters to me, but it doesn't matter as much, because the process of recording is just so important regardless of if this goes anywhere or not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it's almost enabled me to prioritize the friendship over the business anyway. That was always something we talked about, was we wanted to make sure that the friendship was always more important than the business. And I think because it's like almost forced me to face that, especially considering my last situation with that friend I started the business with, is in a situation like I have been able to prioritize the friendship over the business because I've had to. If it was just the business over the friendship, I would have been like, what the hell? Nothing's happening. But then I'm like, but this is I enjoy this so much. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but I think also there's, as I said, in terms of taking action, there's so much more that I can be doing and will be doing. So yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know, as far as myself goes, I think it's been really beautiful to just like kind of listen and learn, and listen and watch the development, and watch the growth, and watch what I've been going through, because this year has been tremendous. And yeah, sure, I'll talk like solo on my own podcast, but to talk with you specifically has been really eye-opening to see, wow, like actually like a reflection of what's happening, the growth, the whatever. And when someone else talks to you every week and kind of see it week by week, it's a pretty cool thing to do and to see. But yeah, we have a lot of recordings coming up. I'm really stoked for next week, and we'll figure out when we can record solo next week too, and we'll get it all sorted.
For sure.
Yeah, I guess that's it though. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Happy,
that's it. But
happy launch day.
Happy launch day,
or
exactly.
launch anniversary or whatever.
Launch eve.
Yeah.
And we'll put our heads together and think about how we can celebrate, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time we chat one-on-one, we'll definitely, we'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Leave us a review and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.